things that President Obama is focused on. It's very important for America.
Michelle Bernard, you're watching right now from the studio. Tell me about this picture we're rocking. There's our chief of state, our head of state, the very symbol of our country, as well as the head of our executive branch, Barack Obama, with his number 2 guy. The symbolism, the reality of this in American life, tell me what it means to you as an observer of this thing.
Sounds like it is the dawn of a new day here in Washington. We talk about how cold it is. It has been frigid all day, but I think there is not one person in the world today who does not feel that they are basking in sunlight. You know, to watch Barack Obama take the oath of office today and then to give the speech that he gave, I know some people felt that he needed to smile and that it was overly somber, but if you really listen to every word that he said today, the symbolism was absolutely amazing on so many different fronts. When he talked about people not being able to be broken, he talked about this as a nation, but as an African American, I can tell you that there were many African American souls today that felt that that was directed to them. When he talked about, remaking America and the symbolism of Hurricane Katrina and when the levees broke and all of, let's face it, quite frankly, all of those faces of African American people drowning and standing on the roofs of their homes waiting to be saved. And he drew on the picture of America, of remaking America, when he talked about firefighters stepping into buildings to save people's lives. That made me think again about 9/11 and the goodness that we saw in our people coming together and making this nation good and true and strong. Once again, you can't help but be taken by the fact that these words are being spoken by a black man, and in a nation that started in slavery, the most important man in the entire world is a black man. It's just unbelievable. I don't think there will ever be words to describe how proud I feel today.
Last word, Mr. Mayor. I mean, Michelle had a lot to say there, and I think you agree with a lot of it.
I did. It's a great moment in American history. People will be talking about this hundreds of years from now, just like we talk about 1776, Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. This is a singular moment in American history. We've come a long way. We have much more work to do. I'm looking forward to working with President Obama to turn this country around.
Mayor Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, thank you, sir, for joining us. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Michelle. We're staying here for another 2 hours of live hardball coverage of the Obama inaugural parade. That's what it is. A lot of black bands coming through. These guys are good. A lot of them coming here to see and, of course, to entertain and to represent in many ways the first African-American president. There they are. They're famous, a lot of these bands, like Florida A&M. The one here from Piney Bluff, Arkansas, is just passed in review. We'll see a lot more of the entertainment and a lot more discussion of the politics. Stay with us. Without going further, because my parents were like that. So Anyway, let me go. We had Protestant and Catholic starting off, too, but they got together on the RC side of the aisle. Let me go to Michelle Obama. And the interesting thing about our Michelle, we couldn't get Michelle Obama right now. We're going to go with Michelle Bernard. Oh, you're a stand-in. I made that mistake last night. I can only get one Michelle in my head at the same time. Let me ask you, I used to do that with Clarence Thomas and Clarence Page to my... Oh, if I had embarrassment, it would be my embarrassment. Let me ask you about this wonderful thing about our political process, which comes to me. We don't have a traditional parliamentary system where you work your way up the system. You go from education minister to work your way up to foreign minister, then defense minister, then you're finally prime minister. In this country, you come out of nowhere. You beat Alan Keyes for a Senate seat in Illinois. Next thing you know, you got a good shot at the presidency. Next thing you know, you're the nominee. Next thing you know, you're president. It all happens in 4 years out of nowhere. This guy came. When did you first hear of Barack Obama? 2004? 2004?
At the 2004 Democratic Convention, I watched that speech that he gave. I was completely awestruck, jaw-dropped. Who is this man? What kind of a name is Barack? And what an incredible gift he had for speaking. And it was not just his oratorical skills, but the way he was able to deliver a speech that from day one reached out to the right, it reached out to the left, it reached out to centrists, to blacks, to whites, to women, to children. I had never seen anything like it, but I knew that he would be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, as I've shown the tape, I did predict he'd be our first black president that night when I heard it.
And a completely different new Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, I think it's important to note, a very new and different type of black politics that we see in Barack Obama. He did not come out of the church as we've known leaders like Martin Luther King to do. He did not, march on the streets of Selma. A lot of people thought that when we saw our first African-American president, it would be someone like John Lewis or someone, from that era. We've seen in Barack Obama, in a lot of the new mayors, black mayors that we're seeing across the country as well, a very different type of black leadership. They look at issues differently, reach out to women, reach out to blacks, reach out to whites, look at issues such as education very differently than what we saw in traditional black civil rights leadership. And it is literally as if Barack Obama stands on the shoulders of so many of the great civil rights leaders that came before him, but is a very, very different generation. We see a huge generational divide, I think, in terms of his rhetoric and the way he will govern the country.
Okay, we're back. We're watching Michelle Bernard doing the brand new windshield wiper wave, which has become very popular. Not from Michelle Obama.
That was Michelle Obama, Chris.
Okay, you know what? I'm getting a little punchy here. Michelle Bernard's with you. Michelle Obama's on the stage right there, waving to the crowd as they go by. I also saw somebody doing the monkey as they were dancing by there. I thought it was interesting, a dance from my era. Anyway, thank you, Bill Press. Thank you, Michelle Bernard. The parade's winding down. Actually, it's about 2/3 the way through, but the night is young. We'll be reporting on all the events from Washington tonight. We're still out here on the National Mall. This is Hardball's coverage of the inauguration. What a history day it was. History in the making. The inauguration of Barack Obama.